I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, you dumb butts.
We're still working out the kinks.
There's no kinks. There's no kinks. Anyway, guys.
Shout out to John.
Shout out to John,
who is the provider and chooser of this song by the band Bethlehem. Vinny's gonna read it because
you read it. Go ahead, read
Schatten aus der Alexander Welt.
Schatten aus der Alexander Welt.
That's my guess. That's my stab.
W's are the, you weirdo.
Well, I mean, that's why I tried to get you to do it, but you wouldn't do it. You wanted me to do it so you could make fun of me, you jerk.
That's a lie. That's not
What'd
really
that person say?
Well, that's not really a lie.
He's mentally abusing her or something. What did he say?
He said I was cyberbullying you, I think he said.
No, it wasn't cyber.
He said something. He said some crime. I had committed some crime against humanity.
Yeah.
And
intellectually bullying her.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
And it was you. You were the one insulting me in
that
particular video.
How could I do something like that?
And I was giving you props for doing a good insult.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then the guy said that I was the
mocking
one
me with it, but
abusing you when in reality you were the one that was mocking me.
Well,
but
you know,
hey, here we are. White woman in distress.
White
woman in distress.
We are gonna do this Bethlehem song. Lyrics are on Genius. You have to scroll down if you want to get the English translation.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because this is a what do you call it?
Yeah, German. I believe.
What do you call it? This is a German band.
German. Okay.
So it's gonna be a little bit different, ladies and gents. Here we are. You ready?
The album's cover's kind of interesting. It looks like a.
Let me get my headset on.
Vision Leichnams. Und erwarte mit besessener Hingabe die erlösende Begierde meines vielgefriedenen Untergangs.
Okay, so apparently the name of the song is Shadows from the Alexander World. And John said, this is kind of interesting, this is the German black metal band from Bethlehem, which is a highly controversial. They were censored in Germany and even banned until 1996 when this album came out from playing in some German cities. It started when Matten gave one copy of their first demo to a 14-year-old boy. After a while, his mother started to call a band, saying that because of their music, her son became aggressive and built a satanic altar in his room. In cooperation with other parents, they started a crusade against Bethlehem and their satanic music. Ironically, Bethlehem were never satanic, he said. I think they definitely sound satanic. And, okay, literally, this is the first time this has ever happened to me on the channel. It literally gave me a headache.
Really?
Yes.
Holy moly.
It started in that screaming, like, I immediately felt a headache, like, right here. I was like, what's happening?
What's occurring?
Yeah. And I just...
Go ahead.
I mean... Profligate Assassin, reviling in purple sides, I shed the cursed blood of your childlike corpse. I await with possessed dedication the redeeming desire of my much praised downfall.
Yeah, I mean, this guy...
I don't know, John, I think you've been deceived.
This guy, I mean, he's on one for sure. For sure. Holy moly. That's a very...
And when the circle of the hanged one speaks? What is the song about?
Well, the circle of the hanged one would be Christians, I'm assuming, right?
Would it?
Yeah, because Jesus would be the hanged one, right? You know, Jesus.
I mean, I thought of like literally.
He was hung on a cross.
From a rope.
He was hung on a cross, so. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then they would be the circle of the hanged one. So. This was. You know, like there's a lot of like bands that try to sound dark and satanic, you know.
Yeah.
And after you've heard it for a while, it gets kind of like, I don't want to say boring, but it's like, yes, you're growling. Oh, you're unhappy. Oh, you hate God. You know, like
yeah.
You know, like I feel like I'm a black metal satanic
band veteran now. Like I've been over the post-traumatic stress disorder that happens when you listen to these bands. But I gotta tell you, this guy's vocal style
shocking.
is
It was shocking.
When I think about
unnerving.
like
the man in the
satanic music, like when I think about like satanic music, like this is what I think about. Like just very desperate. It just sounded so real. Yeah. That was my problem. Like it sounded like this dude,
story of the man that was running around the graves in the Bible, cutting himself.
Yeah,
that went
the
that
Gadarenes.
to me. Yes.
Yeah, like this guy. And it's crazy because this guy's not even these guys aren't satanic apparently. They're not really satanic. I don't know.
know.
John, I don't know, bro. That's why I got that little face right there, like John.
Yeah.
I feel like we just opened some portal or some shit like that. like,
protect me.
Yeah, like just the vocal style, man. It was
unnerving.
It
was like a little stressful to me. I think that's why I got a headache.
Yeah. Like, there's a scene, we're watching this show, and there's this scene where an explosion goes off.
Yeah.
And, like, one of the main guys who survived is going to tend to the wounds. And there's one guy just, like, screaming, like...
That was unnerving,
and
too.
it was very realistic scream.
Yep.
Because he was in that's how it is. It's not like... whatever, like it's shit that you cannot get out of your head. Like you will never not get that sound out of your head.
Oh, I bet.
So, like it's just like, and when men scream, whether either in like pain or terror, which in that particular scene it was both. It's just very, very, very. I don't care how tough you are. When you hear that for the first time, it is, I don't care. I don't care how tough you are. I don't care how tough you think you are. I don't care how tough you say you are. It's just very, very disturbing type of situation. And like, this guy reminded me of that. Like, just the way that I gotta play this again, because some of this shit is just like, I just kind of have to.
Are you putting your headphones? Or
yeah. Just the way that he sounds like this is real.
So when
like it's not.
I was reading, like when I was in school, I had to read some books about, like the concentration camps and stuff like that. And then, actually, I don't even think I was in school. I think might have been after. But anyway, there was a Christian woman, but she wasn't as strong as her husband was. Her husband was a pastor. And like, she had told him, like, because everybody was like denying that they were Christians because they didn't want to get thrown in. This was, I don't remember which camp this was. But anyway, so what was his name? He's the guy that started Voice of the Martyrs. Him and his wife.
Okay.
Well, anyway, so I'm pretty sure that was the couple.
The Tortured for Christ guy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And she had said to him, maybe this will be sounding familiar to you. Everybody was like denying that they were even part of the church. And then she said, yeah, Richard Warmbrand. Yeah. I think that this was them. And she told him to stand up and wipe the shame off the face of Christ.
Yeah.
Right. And so
the communists had showed up.
And they wanted to know that the religious leaders that were already in power were going to bend their knee to them.
Right.
And so they were all bending the knee out of fear for their families, because they basically said, you and your families will be protected if you biblically sing our song.
Biblically, you're supposed to bend the knee to the government as an act of submission to the God-ordained government, but you cannot bend the knee if they put themselves above God's law.
Right.
Right. So which is an important distinction to make, because now
they wanted people to swear allegiance to them and not.
Well,
God.
yeah. I mean, it was statism, and it was essentially they were essentially being forced to say that the state was more important than God,
right,
or the church or whatever, and that's just not something you can do.
Yeah.
from a Christian worldview. Oddly enough, in Islam, if bad guys take over, you're allowed to renounce your faith in Islam. If the bad guys show up, but in Christianity, you're not you're not given that out. So, and by the way, shout out to the Muslims who are being oppressed in China right now, which for some reason nobody's talking about. I don't know if it's because it's Muslims or if it's China or if it's both, but whatever.
So anyway, so with her, you know, she had told her husband, I always thought the story was a little bit fascinating because she told him, like, stand up and wipe the face up. You know, so she sounded so powerful in that. But then when she ended up getting thrown in prison later, she had an extremely difficult time. And I felt like she was holding her husband to a standard that she was unable to, you know, she struggled a lot with it. Not that I don't think, of course you're going to struggle with it, but.
Well, yeah, and you should hold a man and a pastor to a higher standard than
you yourself.
Than a woman.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but
in that situation.
I know, yes, but you know how I am and how I view like men and women and how I always feel like women, like you, I always feel are an exception. Most times I feel like women are more powerful than men as far as what they're going to handle. There are a lot of times women are the ones running families. The
more
guy
powerful how?
Like I'm saying, like I just said, they'll stick it out with the family. I'm talking about my.
You're not
just
talking
like
about
my
physical. You're talking.
No. Like your constitution and what's going to keep you in an environment that's difficult, and you know the lengths that people are willing to go to for certain things. So a lot of times women will go through hell or high water for their kids. Yeah. Where you know you'll see men will just obviously there are exceptions to that, and
I see what you're saying.
So in my opinion, aside before getting in a relationship with you, I always felt like I had a stronger constitution than any of the men that I was around. But you obviously like flipped that on its head.
Yeah, but you must have known that even before you got in a relationship with me.
Well, yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
I've always thought you were not like the norm. But anyway, so it was in this concentration camp, this like a giant way of telling this mini story. And when she was in there, she said that they had, I think there was one light, but it was only like a 15-watt light bulb, so it was very, very dim. And they would lock them all into this room, and there was one singular bucket for them to use, so it was really nasty.
This is for the girls?
Yeah. And obviously, girls are having their cycles, so it's really, really smelly in there because it's not just bathroom, it's everything. And people get sick, and so when they locked them in this room, there was this woman apparently that, whatever you believe about possession, she believed that the woman that was in the room was possessed. And like all of a sudden the woman would start like acting really like crazy, and then she would start flipping out and she would just tear around the room. She smashed the light bulb, so now they had no light. And this woman, Richard's wife, said that the noise that came from this woman's mouth was like unnatural sound. It wasn't like something that like sounded like it originated from the vocal cords of a woman. Like it was just like otherworldly, and she was just tearing around this room. She dumped over that bucket of nasty and flicked, and the light, she smashed the light bulb. And it was just, she said that anytime that would happen, like all the women, including her, and she was like the pastor's wife and had been through a lot, they would just, I'm pretty sure even she did this, they just hid into their bed. And I remember when that happened, when that woman was like, and I remember when I read the story, I was like, I would have friggin' grabbed that woman and started praying over her. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I would have grabbed her every time, like, until... So, it's just funny, like, how, different experiences and circumstances are, But anyway, so when I heard this song, like, that's kind of like the sound, like... kind of like it's unnerving, and like if you were to be locked someplace where I don't want to be is like, whether that's in a relationship or that's like a physical location or that's a job or anything, I don't want to feel like I'm trapped or I'm stuck in anything I don't want to do. So the idea of especially the more kids that I get, the idea of being separated from your children, like when they were in that situation, to me that's like, I thought the worst thing was the pain that you would endure being in there and the claustrophobia of being like trapped in there and being like, they just treated them so horribly. But now that I have like a lot of kids, I'm like, the idea of being separated from my children, like to be separated from you is a different type of pain, because you're an adult and I'm an adult, and we both know that if we're going to try like hell to stay alive and get back to each other, but to be separated from your child, and your child doesn't know what they're going to experience, and you can't be there to protect them, and they don't know if they're ever going to see you again, and who's going to take care of them, who's going to love them like you do, and they would come in and they would tell them, oh, they would lie to them to get them to, your son is dead, or oh, he's committed. No, they said that he committed to the party, and they said if you had just bowed the knee, you would have been there to like train your own son, but now he's with us, which was a lie. They were just lying to him to just. But he did a really crazy thing. The way that he survived it, like his body was like really, really abused and scarred up at the end. But the way that he survived it, one of the things that he would do is he said that he would set himself to prayer. One, I think he counted all the stones that were in his dark cell because there was no lights. Then he started traveling mentally to different places all around the world and just set to praying for all the people of the world. So he would travel to China and he would visualize China, and everything that he could ever remember that he had learned or saw or imagined about China, he would set the scene and then begin praying for the people. And that was how he passed his time. And he said that it kept his mind from...
Yeah, I bet. Profligate assassin, reveling in purple sides, I shed the cursed blood of your childlike corpse. And await with possessed dedication the redeeming desire of my much praised downfall. I mean, this guy, he can write. I'm assuming he's writing from the perspective of the devil. So, in that sense, a profligate assassin would be God. And I shed the blood of your cursed child. I cursed the blood of your childlike corpse, which I'm assuming would be Jesus.
Reveling in purple sides? Do you think that's because they put the sword, not the sword, but the spear through his side?
Well, a profligate is somebody who's just like, it's like a person who's like mega rich, but mega wasteful.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say like King Henry, because we just got done watching that biopic, but he wasn't really he's kind of like that, but like, it's somebody who's like, gets a lot of money, and just is completely and totally wasteful about it, and whatever, and is unaware, kind of like Nancy Pelosi with her $12,000 fridge, talking about her favorite ice cream during COVID, while people are literally in lines for food.
Right.
So if you think about how a person views God, a profligate assassin reveling in purple sides. Purple is a symbol for royalty. Rich, remember the rich young ruler, he was clothed in purple, that type of thing. So it's basically presenting God as like, you're just up there, in the king, being the king, very wasteful. You got all this fancy smancy stuff, blah, blah, blah. But he's also an assassin in the sense that, he kills a bunch of people, which God does. He kills lots of people. So that's what I think the first verse is. And then he's waiting with possessed dedication, the redeeming desire of his much praised downfall, which is, I'm assuming, again, if it's a devil, it's the redeeming desire is his desire to be God himself. Right. And then he talks about his much praised downfall that only would be true of people who follow the devil, right? Because we don't look at his downfall as not something to be praised. Thunder rises and I feel like the tear whose thorn, I don't know if that's a translation issue. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Thunder rises and I feel like the tear whose thorn thrusts deep into the pool of my prophecy. Whew. I mean, the guy is insane, like the way that he writes. Bear destruction.
It's like lightning. The thunder rises and I feel the lightning whose thorn thrusts deep into the pool of my prophecy.
Well, it might be the tear as in like tearing apart something. So the thorn, it might be tear as in just tear. Not like eye drop tear, but like something that tears something apart. So thunder rises and I feel a tear whose thorn thrusts deep into the pool of my prophecy. So it looks like maybe the thunder opened up a wound and then there's thorns that go into the wound, so he's a very wounded, angry individual, apparently, from the looks of the song anyway. Bare destruction blows round my slow thighs. The middle can no longer be kept, and it took only 2 shots to kill the king. I'm assuming that's him castrating himself. Right? You know. Blows around my slow thighs. The middle can no longer be kept, and it took only 2 shots to kill the king.
I don't get it.
So his slow thighs, the middle can no longer be kept. That would be what's in between his thighs can no longer be kept, and it took only 2 shots to kill the king. So 1, 2. He's no longer a king because he's not a dude anymore, I guess. And when the circle of the hanged one speaks and the faded light breaks in black wine. That's a good line. Black wine. Holy moly. We should
do something with that.
Yeah. We should definitely do something with that. I know exactly what we're going to do with that. That's very good. The penance of the dead horse will fall. Share to my harsh darkness. So some of this is a translation issue, but some of this is just straight up, you know, but man, he again, this band is not like, you know, because this band's like Vatane and things like that are like dedicated to Satan. Like, these guys are not dedicated to Satan officially, but holy moly, man, this is the most disturbing. People were saying, like, oh, when you listen to Vatane, you'll, like, this guy vocally is the most disturbing vocalist I've ever heard in my entire life.
100%.
Holy moly. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Like, not even close.
I said, right away I got a headache.
Like,
I was like 20 seconds in to his talking.
Mega disturbing situation.
Yeah.
Which means the guy did his job.
He absolutely did. And you know what's interesting?
I hope all these guys are still alive, man. Holy moly.
Even if they're not, let's say that they are not demonic, like the influence that they're having obviously on that 14-year-old kid was that direction, because the kid built that altar, and you know.
Correct.
And I could see how, even if the song is not demonic, how the sound could make you feel in a certain way. Like, you don't have to have a song that's singing about sex to put a song on that kind of makes you feel like having sex. Right. You know, there are just certain beats that kind of make the body want to move. And like this one, I can see how this would kind of lead, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And no, I think this guy's more, he's vocally more spooky to me than Dead from Mayhem for sure. Mm-hmm. Now, look, if I met Dead from Mayhem, he'd probably be more spooky. Mm-hmm. Or if I met the guy from Vatane, he'd probably be more spooky. But as far as like the effect on me from hearing this song, it's just mega disturbing, bro. Yes. Yep. Mega disturbing. And like, this is one of those things where it's like, I would legitimately, like, if I wanted to like scare someone, like, really prank him, like turn off all the lights or whatever and like put that on,
and at the end when he was the whispering,
Woo! Like put the speaker in some weird room or whatever, and it's like, you guys hearing that? Turn off the lights and live stream that, see how it goes. I'm gonna give this song a 10 just because I've never heard vocals like this before in my entire life. Like, I'm just blown away by what this guy did vocally. Yeah. It's absolute madness. It's insane.
I would agree with that. And I mean, he took it next level. I got a headache. The headache is gone now since the.
Yeah, you give Sori a headache on your shit, then it's gotta be it. What do you give the song?
I gave it a 10 as well because of all that. I mean, how can you not?
How could you not, dear listener?
I'm not gonna build an altar or listen to it again, but.
Oh yeah, that kid they built. Yeah, I can understand why the kid built an altar, and I also understand why the parents had a giant revolution over it. Yeah. Like, I personally wouldn't participate, but definitely be one where I usually say like, hey, if your kid's listening to dark music, that's great. Just
listen.
Bring Mo and this one. I don't know.
So shout out to you, John.
Shout out to you, John. Evil ass. All right, Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.